So welcome to Adobe Guadalupe. We're going to start the tasting with the rosé of the house, which is Uriel. And while you taste the rosé, we are going into the cave, so I can explain you a little bit what we do down here, okay? Uriel is a blend of 7 different varietals. It has Tempranillo, Barbera, Sauvignon Blanc, Moscatel, Cinsault, Syrah, and yeah, sure. And even though it's not a sweet wine, it's a dry wine, it's very refreshing, especially for days like today.
Like it.
This is like that. I'm still like full contact.
I know. Me too.
So am I. Que bueno, está bien cruzadito.
I did talk to him.
Yeah. There's back.
Or even when we're
The color actually is pretty
So
intense
pretty,
for a
isn't
rosé, as you
Yeah.
can see. This one we let macerate all the skin with the grape like 48 hours. The 2012, which is the next year, it's going to be a little bit more pink because it only had 12 hours of maceration. So this is a singular wine because of its color. You're going to feel in the nose very fruity aromas, as well as the flavors. And during the tasting, you can have some olives and olive oil. They are from our own olive trees that we grow here. As you taste the wine, let's go into the cave so I can explain you a little bit of the aging process that we do here.
So good.
Good. What do you want to try? It's good. I know you have a big one.
Here's when we do the aging of the wines. Normally we use French as well as American oak barrels. We give to the wines an aging of 50-50, but the enologists actually can change that percentage depending on the flavors of every year, but normally it's like 50-50. For the red wines, it's a total of 11 months in the barrels. The rosé you are tasting right now doesn't have any aging. It's a young wine. It's actually pretty light, and it's meant to be a drink as soon as you buy it, so it's not really like a wine to keep in your house a couple of years. After the red wines that are aging here in the barrels finish the aging, they go to the bottle and pass another 11 months over there. So the youngest wine you're going to find in the red wines is going to be the one from 2 years ago. That means 2010 for this year. All the bottle that you see over there is a private reserve of Mr. Miller. He and his wife, Mrs. Miller, are the owners of Adobe Guadalupe. Normally, he takes around 20 to 25 cases of each wine to the private reserve. So later in the year, he can make the vertical tastings. A vertical tasting is to taste the very same kind of wine, but from different years, in order to see how it is evolving during the period he stays in the bottle. For example, the last we had, it was Carubial, I guess. Yeah, Carubial was like 2 months ago. And then we taste from Carubial 2000, which is our first vintage, to Carubial 010. And surprisingly, the 2000 it was in very good shape. So if you ask me how long can I keep a bottle in my house, well, I can tell you at least 12 years. It resists very well, those 12 years. Obviously, you have to have conditions like similar to the ones that we have here, which is darkness, low temperature, the bottle horizontal, because the cork has to be in contact with the liquid, so it doesn't get dry and let the air enter to the bottle. So we are still knowing our wines, but we're kind of a young winery. Yeah. the more you let it breathe in the glass, the more flavors and aromas. More flavors and aromas.
Who does all the artwork? That's really cool.
Well, this is supposed to be the vine, according to the artist. Kind of abstract. Yeah. But all the artwork, as well as the label design, were made by Juan Sebastián Beltrán. He's an artist from Ensenada. He designed to the angel wings at the end of the miniatures. And now we are gonna taste Raphael. Raphael is the boldest wine we have. It's really rich. It's a blend of Cabernet Nebbiolo. This one has the chocolate more present than the others. All the flavors from the barrel, the vanilla, coffee, tobacco. And the color, as you can see, it's
a lot more purple.
Exactly, more purple. Cabernet Nebbiolo.
Rafael, ¿verdad?
Raphael, exactly. Actually, we paired this one with mole, which is made with chocolate too.
This one is a lot of alcohol too, right?
Well, the last three have more or less the same amount. 13.4, 13.4, 13.4.
I have a message. For your me. It's good.
Actually, if you ask my opinion about the water, I would prefer just a couple of drops of the last wine than water, because the water can dilute all the flavors of the next wine. So it's better to have 1 or 2 drops, unless you are going from a red to a white. In that case, yeah, go ahead. But it's just a tip. This one is Kerubiel. This wine has the style of the Rhone wines, like the Chateauneuf du Pape, the most known of them. From the 13 varietals that are allowed in the Chateauneuf du Pape, the enologist takes 5 and makes this blend, the Kerubiel. The main grape is Syrah. It has also Mourvedre, Grenache, Cinsault, and a little bit of Viognier.
So it's got a little bit sweeter or not?
Well, all of them are dry wines, but this one is more complex because all the fruity from the different grapes. So you're gonna feel fruit, flower, a little bit of vanilla, a little bit of coffee, chocolate, but all that mixed together. Sugar, either.
No?
It's very smooth. This one's very smooth.
Yeah, the tannin is very round, so it's not that aggressive. But these ones have a little bit more notes from the barrels, so you're gonna feel it a little bit stronger too.
Which one is it?
Kerubiel.
I just have like 2 sips. It's very strong.
Sorry?
It's very strong. No, not yet. I started doing it on my stuff.
Yeah, I don't really feel anything, but maybe I'm.
For
Yeah.
example, Kerubiel and Raphael, they kind of need food
Probably.
to be fair with. They are really intense.
The after, like, it just goes. Not like
It's way more complex than the Jardin Secret.
other things. Try like cheese. Still video.
Do you want to make some notes?
What was the last one we just had after the pandemic? No.
The real, then the Jardín Secreto, and the one that you're drinking right now, it's Cerrajillo. Jardín Secreto, Uriel fue el primero, el rosado. Actually, the name of the wines are very related to the family history.
Oh, really?
Mr. and Mrs. Miller lost a son 20 years ago.
That's not nothing to do with the beer, Miller, right?
No, it has nothing to do. They lost a son in a car crash accident.
Oh, yes.
And, well, he was very enthusiastic and a lover of the Mexican culture. So they decide, instead of starting the winery in Sonoma, where was originally thought by Arlo, his son, and Mr. Miller, to start the winery here in Baja, and name all the wines in honor to Arlo.
Was it their only son?
No, actually he was a son of Mrs. Miller.
Okay.
Mr. Miller was his stepfather.
Okay.
She has another daughter, and he has another son. They don't have common children.
Together.
Yeah, it's their second marriage.
Okay.
So Mrs. Miller says that since her son doesn't have any friends but the angels, that's why she named all the wines after the archangels. Because for her, they're watching over the whole winery with Arlo, that the project that he left incomplete goes on.
Yeah.
And actually, between those two palm trees at the end of the vineyards, there is a small chapel over there, and Arlo's ashes are in that chapel. 21.
21?
Yeah, he will be like 41.